Profound questions remain to be asked about the long-term effects of pesticide exposure on children.
It's just like the National Academy study on pesticides in children. All they did was look at food. Again, one source, very narrow-minded. Why didn't they look at everything? From the mother's exposure that's passed on to that child, from the child's exposure from the breast milk, from the child's exposure crawling around on the lawn that somebody just put some herbicides on because they didn't want dandelions in their yard.
So we don't even really know how much exposure children have now.
No, we don't. We truly don't. We truly don't know what the long-term, cumulative, delayed health effects are of these chemicals in children.
When will we know?
We may have to wait another generation again.
And those who have experienced the most extreme pesticide exposure feel a sense of urgency to get the answers.
It's common sense. We've got to wake up. We've all got to wake up, because if we're dying, you're not escaping from it either. Your children's children. We got to find a safe place, and the way to start is we got to get our government to be accountable to what they're registering out there and what they're permitting, what pesticides they're permitting. Study them, and if it causes cancer or defects, stop it.
If you have 600 active ingredients that are out there being used in commerce in large quantity, and you haven't tested but a small subset of them, that means you're using the population as experimental animals for the ones you haven't tested. By definition, you're doing that. So that's not good public policy.
But public policy on agricultural chemicals has gotten bogged down in the minutiae of bureaucracy and the politics of pesticides. Caution and delay control the agenda.
It's outrageous. Every year that it goes on without resolution is it's a travesty. We're eating that stuff.
Well, we'll work on it.
And work they will. In 1972, the law regulating pesticides was only 35 pages long. This year, it will be well over 200 pages, filled with special clauses to accommodate a variety of interests.
Whatever the chairman wants is clearly a priority.
Well, great.
The chairman is Kika de la Garza from Texas, a 28-year veteran.
Is there any money someplace?
De la Garza heads the powerful House Agriculture Committee, which has principal jurisdiction over pesticide regulation.
I'll be right back to talk to you about this forestry markup. Back in 10 seconds.
Okay.
The chairman's committee has proven to be the most influential voice on federal pesticide law. And that's why everyone with an interest in agriculture wants to be friends with Chairman Kika de la Garza.
Hi, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman de la Garza controls the $68 billion budget at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. His House committee sets agricultural priorities and funds them. He and his fellow members are aggressively courted by agribusiness. In just the last 5 years, powerful agricultural interests donated more than $1 million to their campaigns.
Committee will be in order.
On any working day here, you'll find lobbyists for everything from chemical companies to food retailers watching to make sure that change does not hurt their clients. So simple questions become more complicated, and the members struggle to keep up.
If there are no further questions, the question is on the agreement of HR.
House Agriculture Committee meetings are always full, but this is one of the least crowded hearing rooms on Capitol Hill. Here is where they discuss alternative approaches to farming. The Senate Subcommittee on Agricultural Research, chaired by South Dakota Senator Tom Daschle. There are rarely chemical lobbyists in this room.
I hope that today's discussion will generate some good ideas about how...
Less than 7% of the USDA's research budget goes towards promoting alternatives to chemical agriculture. At EPA, the number is less than 3%. Of the 800 EPA employees in the Office of Pesticide Programs, only 5 work on alternatives to chemicals. a research effort of slightly more than $500,000. So the development of alternative methods of pest control rests largely in the hands of entrepreneurs like Glenn Scriven. His company, Biotactics, grows and markets predator mites that feed on strawberry pests.
The production of natural enemies, predators and parasites, is not as profitable as producing chemicals. And this may be one reason that it's difficult for us to get capital investment to develop this business.
Small. Federal law permits the residues of 67 pesticides in strawberries. The EPA suspects that 7 may cause cancer. All but 1 are old chemicals. But there are no poisons in this strawberry patch. These workers have another weapon, Glenn Scriven's predator mites. This farm is changing from chemicals to integrated pest management. The workers are getting their first lesson in how to apply them. Insects are adapting faster than we can kill them with poisons. But even though we are losing the chemical war, the use of natural predators is not likely to replace pesticides anytime soon.
Chemicals are still number one.
Last meeting, those of you that were here remember that the theme was cover crops, and I hope you got them in. That's all I can say. I thought we'd just go around again this morning and bring up any concerns or any revelations.
More and more, small farmers are taking the lead in alternative forms of pest control.
They use it for the Colorado potato beetle. I don't know whether it works.
I mean, is it something I can commercially go get from somewhere?
Yeah. What about mealybug on your place, Fred? What's happened?
When I was talking
Paul Buxman chairs a monthly breakfast with local farmers from the Fresno area.
I think the fact that some of these heavy pesticides are being eliminated, it's nice to know that you can do it without them.
Attendance at the breakfast has been steadily growing. The group calls itself the California Clean Growers Association. Their aim is to radically reduce their dependence on synthetic chemicals.
When Dad was farming prior to the 1950s, the USDA published some reports that we were losing an annual percentage of fruit at about 7% overall to pest damage. Today, that's up around 13%. So with all of the chemical warfare and that we've gotten against our pests, our damage has almost doubled. Now, there's something real haywire here. If this stuff is so helpful and useful, why is it that we continue to lose all this stuff? And has any pest been eradicated? No. Has any pest been really controlled? No. Has the chemicals really helped farmers become more independent and economically sound? No.
Buxman uses no poisons in his orchards.
I feel safe with my son out there. We don't post warnings, keep out. He doesn't break out in skin rashes like in the old days, my daughter coming down with total body rashes. There was something phony, you know, about those studies. If they're telling you that it's, you know, this is just, don't worry about it, this is safe. I keep hearing this is the safest thing in the world and so on. My observation is that that's not true.